Behind all the tactics and strategies that we hear about of how to become successful, there is one single, universal, overarching rule that must be met if we're going to become successful. And we're going to talk about this in this exact video because it's something I talk about on stage regularly. It's something that I observe in my entrepreneurial network of over 2,500 predominantly online business owners. And this one rule is so powerful and so true that it's not going to make success guaranteed, but without it, you cannot succeed. Right? So it's super important. And by the way, if during this video you like what we're talking about and it makes sense, then hit like on the video below. If you have a perspective to share or any advice from your own experience, I would love to hear it. So please comment below on this video as well. And if, as you're watching it, you enjoy this kind of content and you would like more like this, then hit subscribe, which you'll see down the bottom of the video on YouTube. All right, so keep that in mind as you're going through. So, enough dragging it out. What is the rule? What is this thing that you absolutely must be in line with if you're going to be successful? And that is that if you want to become successful, you must first see yourself as successful. It's so important. We've got to see ourselves as successful before we're able to do the things that are going to make us successful consistently, and that in turn is going to enable us to create the result of success. Now, I want to point something out. When I say success for this video, I mean your own definition of success. So what success looks like for you, and that doesn't need to just be in business or online business. It can be in any field of life whatsoever. What does success look like for you? And if you're going to achieve success by your definition, you must first see yourself as the version of yourself who is capable of achieving that result. You must first see yourself as successful. So that then begs the obvious question, which is, if you don't have the result yet and you don't see yourself as successful yet, then how do you see yourself as successful without the result? Like, how do you get into that space that's going to enable you to even create the result? Right? And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to go through a 4-step process of the areas to focus on to really dial in to that belief and get that vision of yourself, that idea of yourself, start to see yourself in the light of successful. And once you're in that space, things are going to start to change. What you're willing to tolerate is going to start to shift. The way you show up each day is going to start to shift. And the first step, the first thing that we need to do is we need to get crystal clear on a direction. And I talk in other videos about vision, mission, goals, the difference between having, being and doing goals, the relationship between goal-based thinking or outcome-based versus project-based. We're not going to go through all of that in this video, but in a very broad sense, step one is we need some kind of direction and target of where we're heading to. What do we want to achieve and why do we want to achieve it? We've got to have that target that we're aiming towards. Right? That's step one. And then step two is to model somebody who has already achieved the result that you are trying to achieve, which you've worked out in step one. Model someone who's achieved the result and look at what did they do to achieve it. What habits did they create? What were they doing consistently? What actions did they take? And the clearer you get about what they did, the more you will realize that if they've done it, you can do it. There is absolutely no reason that if someone else is able to achieve something, there's no reason that you cannot do it too. You can learn skills, refine skills, you can master skills as a human being. That's something you're capable of. And any actions that they've taken, you can learn to take those too, and therefore you can create the same result. And this logic, right, if you believe that to be true, this logic is going to start to fuel your own belief. The more you see how they did it and the more you see yourself doing that, the more it's going to become real for you. And it's exactly like if you imagine a toddler, when a toddler decides to start walking. They don't just wake up one day and suddenly they're on their feet and they're like, how do we get here? Like, this is such a surprise. I don't know what to do. That's not how it happens. The way that it happens is they see the big people, the adults, they see them walking and they suddenly reach a point where they're like, maybe I can do that. If they're doing it, I'm going to try and copy them. I'm going to also try and create that result in my life. And then they try and they fail, and they try and they fail, and again and again and again, they do it, but they keep falling down until eventually one day they get it right, and then they're walking. And what's happened is they've set an intention, they've seen other people creating a result, they've then decided, maybe I can do that. They've started to envision themselves doing it. And that vision is then what drives them to start taking the actions of trying to walk. They won't try to walk until they see themselves potentially walking, until they have that idea in their heads that maybe I can walk, right? A baby doesn't try and walk because they're not at that stage yet. They don't relate to that yet. But it's when they get to that point where they're like, that's something that I want to do. They see themselves doing it. That then is what causes them to try and fail again and again until they eventually succeed. Right? Same concept applies with modeling. The more that you look at other people achieving the result you're trying to achieve, the more you're going to start to realize that you can do it too. You've got to immerse yourself in that environment. Get yourself in with people who are achieving the result, and it will fuel your own belief massively. And that brings us on to step 3, which is to overcome fear. And part of overcoming fear is learning to have faith and trust in yourself, in that things are going to work out, in that you will keep going until you reach your goals. We have to learn to trust in the unknown. Fear is going to come up when we venture into the unknown. That's part of stepping into success, because success that's beyond our capabilities at the moment is also beyond our comfort zone. And if it's beyond our comfort zone, it's in the unknown, and in the unknown is where fear will thrive. So we have to learn to get comfortable, as close as you can do, but we have to learn to get comfortable in the uncomfortable. We have to learn to consistently take action in the face of fear, feel the fear, and just do it anyway. It's crucial, and part of that process is just trusting and having faith that you will work things out, that it will work out. You have always worked things out. Everything in your life, no matter how bad it once seemed, you've come through the other side. When our back is against the wall and it is do or die, we all tend to do. Just remember that. It's always worked out. And we know that it's always worked out because I've said this in other videos, but if you're watching this video, well, you've got a roof over your head, you probably have food and running water, and you're safe, and you have family in a first world country. Like, think of all the things you could be grateful for in your reality right now. The point is, you're safe. You're not about to get attacked by a tiger or anything like that, right? You're safe, you're fine, it's always worked out. And if that's the case, it always will work out. And if that's the case, we can learn to let go, surrender, trust, faith, and just face fear head on. That is a crucial skill that we've got to master if we're going to become successful. And the fear, being able to overcome the fear, suddenly becomes so much more achievable and attainable when we see ourselves as successful. And the reason why is we're no longer willing to tolerate what we previously were willing to tolerate. When we change how we see ourselves, we change what we're willing to tolerate, and previously stuff that terrified us that we'd never even considered doing, well, now we're more compelled to do it because we're not willing to tolerate the effects of not doing it. We're not willing to tolerate remaining unsuccessful because we haven't faced our fears. But we've got to learn to face fear. And then the final step, step 4, to tie all of this down, is we have to take action, relentless action, consistent action, and never ever quit on achieving our goals. We've got to be in that space where we're all in, where we're willing to do whatever it takes. Nothing's going to stop us. We can fail 1,000 times, it doesn't matter. We will just keep going. And when you're in that space where you've burned all your other bridges and there is one path, one route, one option, and you are giving this everything you've got, blood, sweat, tears, money, doesn't matter. No matter what it takes, you're going to make it happen. You're going to achieve your goals, your vision. You're going to create that future you want to create. When you're in that space, you will become unstoppable. And again, it's tied into how you see yourself. If you already have locked in your mind that you are successful, you are making it happen, you are the person that will create that result, that fire will start to come. That do or die mentality will show up. Again, it's about what you're willing to tolerate. And if you're no longer willing to tolerate mediocre, it is no longer an option. And when that's no longer an option and you only have one choice, you will get into that whatever it takes, because it will become do or die. If we're not willing to tolerate failure or any alternative, or a path that we were settling for before, if we're no longer willing to tolerate that and we've only got one choice, one chance, one path, one route, we're going to be much more compelled to give it everything. Because if we don't succeed at that path, well, what else do we have? We won't tolerate anything else. And when it's do or die, we tend to succeed. All right, so all of those 4 steps. Again, quick summary, we need our goals, vision, target. We need an idea of where we're going. We need to model somebody else that's achieved it, build the right habits, do what they did consistently every single day to get there. We need to overcome fear. We need to let go, have faith, trust in ourselves in the process, trust that it will work out, just dive face first into fear, the things that terrify us. And finally, step 4, we need to take action, relentless, consistent, no matter what it takes. We do not give up, we do not quit. All 4 of those things are built on the foundation of seeing yourself as successful, and only then will the result come. We've got to do what it takes to get the result before we get the result. We do not get the result before doing what it takes to get the result. All right, so I hope this helps. If this video has been powerful for you, if you've enjoyed it, please please comment below with any perspectives that you do have to share. I would love to hear your perspectives. And I know a lot of other people get value from the comments and the perspectives. So add to other people, give value to others too by sharing what your thoughts are on it. And if you've enjoyed and want more, please click subscribe. You'll see that down below. I do plenty more like this, plenty more on online business, and really, really hope that this video has helped. Thanks very much for watching. Appreciate it. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.